The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. And for the next 4 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. Worldwide toll-free 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Terry Favour, and we're going to be talking to Terry about her new book called The Universe in Black and White, a plain and simple illustrated guide to time, space, and the meaning of life. And her website is www.terryfavour.com, and that's TerryFavour.com. Now, goodbye to old certainties. Hello, paradoxical truths of existence. Welcome the new wisdom of being here now. The book, The Universe in Black and White, is written for anyone seeking a clearer understanding of the shift that 20th to 21st century science has now plunged us into. The new science, including among other challenges of our outmoded mechanistic world, quantum physics, has overturned our assumptions about what is real and what is possible. The Universe in Black and White, illustrated with simple and appealing black and white drawings throughout, entertainingly explores the changes of paradigm that we have already staked claims upon our attention. That's whether we're ready for them or not. Joining me now is Terry Favour. And Terry, welcome to the X Zone.
Thank you, Rob.
Terry, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a senior citizen, I guess you could say. I've raised a family, and in the process of raising that family, we spent a lot of time on the subjects that you just went through with reading the back cover of the book there. And out of a lot of discussions with my children, this book materialized.
Now, Terry, what do you think we're in for with this new paradigm shift from the 20th to the 21st century?
Well, in actuality, a lot of it has already started. If you think about it, starting with the fax machine, life became much different than it had been before. For example, you could sign a contract instantly.
Right.
Before, we used to have to wait for days for transactions to take place, via mail, et cetera. And so one of the things that's happened is that we've incorporated into our sort of Newtonian mechanical worldview the quantum physics worldview, which is instantaneous and virtual.
Do you think that there's going to be more virtuality in the future and that there's going to be less and less human personal contact?
I tend to be optimistic and not feel that the human being really needs personal contact, and that somehow, and within all the changes that we go through, that we'll see to it that we do stay personally connected.
Then how come we're not doing that now in the world of texting? Kids text their parents, the parents text the kids, they text each other, and it seems like we're losing that one-on-one communication.
No, I agree with you. I think that that's what it looks like is happening. And but I feel like we're very new at where we're going into this new paradigm, I call it, that we're moving into. It's brand new, and we don't understand it. We still have one foot stuck in, like I said, the more Newtonian mechanistic view, and quantum physics is pushing us into the realm of really a realm where we're having to realize that things are not solid. They, even in the material-looking world, things are not solid.
You and I have to take a 2-minute commercial break. Please stand by. Terry Favour's our guest. She is the author of The Universe in Black and White, a plain and simple illustrated guide to time, space, and the meaning of life. Her website, www.terryfavour.com, and that's www.terryfavour.com. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. And we'll continue on the other side of this 2-minute commercial break, right here from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone broadcast network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
Hello, I'm Justina Marsh, and with my dad Pete, we are going to present a new show called Too Good to Be True. Together, we are aiming to discover more truths about this world and beyond. Do you have unanswered questions about the world? Do you ever wonder about aliens, conspiracy theories, or the universe? There are many shows discussing subjects such as pyramids or UFOs, but we want to relay this information based on our own research, including from spiritual means. Hopefully, listeners will be helped with their own beliefs and will appreciate the psychic insights that add to the previous research and information. We both look forward to sharing this insight and beginning this journey with our listeners. Visit xzbn.net for more information about when to listen.
Terry Favour's my guest of this hour, Exonation. She's the author of The Universe in Black and White, a plain and simple illustrated guide to time, space, and the meaning of life. Her website, www.terryfavour.com. That's Terry, Favour.com. Tell me, Terry, how do you think that quantum physics and our new technology is going to challenge our experience of time and space?
Well, like I said, my illustration about the fax machine, I think that this fact that things happen instantly, that we deal a lot with virtual realities, really, is already very much in place. And I think that it's a struggle, I think, for people right now to make their material bodies, so to speak, behave in this world where materiality means nothing, meaning that we have to go way too fast. You know, we have too many obligations in too short a time nowadays. And I think this stuff has to be worked out. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that we haven't figured it out. We don't even realize, I don't think, what's really happening to us.
Well, it seems that the children of today certainly have caught on, and they are ready for what lies ahead. Do you think it's the older generation that is going to have the problem with this?
Oh, yes. I mean, obviously, we older people have much more problem with
Mm-hmm.
it. And I assume that the younger generation are the ones that will arrange their lives so that these kinds of things fit in better. You know, we are already
Well, sure.
moving along in the pace that we go, and then this is interjected into that.
But, you know, this is how life has gone ever since the beginning of recorded history. We saw the same thing, during the Industrial Revolution and the Renaissance, where people had to readjust their way of living in order to go with the progress of the world around them. So should we find this oh so mystifying and so hard to understand?
No, only except in the way that it applies to us. You know, I'm sure that each all the Industrial Revolution people felt much like we do. No, I agree with you completely that this is not something new. Maybe the way that we're going to come from looking at what is happening to us may be different. I think that we're going to have to take a much broader view of history, meaning that all of history is really contributing to what's happening now. And I think that we're going to have to take a better look at that.
So we're going to either so those who find themselves in the slow lane are either going to have to catch up to speed or pull over to the side of the road and let everybody else go by.
Yeah, but and like you say, I mean, I think that things like this have happened before.
Tell me,
we older people in any time, in any paradigm change, are always going to be the ones that are having the most trouble.
Why do we use the term paradigm change instead of advance in technology?
Because of the fact that quantum physics is telling us that most of the way we view our world, our perception of reality is going to change. It's going to have to change because, first of all, form is not a solid thing. Quantum physics is showing us that form is vast, empty space in reality. And then they're also showing us that emptiness is actually full. It's full and overflowing with intelligence and consciousness.
But this is all hypothetical.
It's not hypothetical.
Sure it is.
This is what quantum physics is about.
Quantum physics still isn't an established science in the arena where you can actually say that there's more intelligence out there. That for example, if you tell somebody that the brick wall that they're going to smash their car into isn't solid, they're going to have one heck of a time believing you.
Well, it's because what's smashing into it and what is being, if you're smashing your car into the brick wall, both the car and the brick wall are relatively the same thing. So it appears to be solid. But the thing is that's not, there's a lot of things that we nowadays understand isn't the way things are, even if it doesn't look that way. For example, the sun comes up, it goes down, but doesn't really.
Well, we've known this for centuries.
Yes, but
so how does that relate to quantum physics?
Well, it's what I'm trying to express is that quantum physics is telling us things about our reality that are hard to believe now. But so was the fact that we were spinning around space as a ball, at one time.
All right, so it's just like saying the world is flat, and now we know it isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, give me some examples of how quantum physics has actually changed the reality of certain perceptions.
Well, I think that quantum physics is really responsible for the computer, for example, and certainly if you think I'm certainly old enough to know what the world was like before any of this technological wizardry was around.
Now, just let me ask you a question here. How is quantum physics responsible for the development of the computer at IBM when IBM first came out with their first computers? How did quantum physics fit into that? Because I've never heard that before.
Well, the silicon chip has a lot to do with all of this new technological advancement, and without it, if you have just Newtonian physics, you can't do these things. And believe me, listen, I am not a scientist. Everything that I know and have learned about all this has been work that has been done by very accomplished scientific people,
right?
But they have interpreted this for people like me, lay people who cannot, I don't know, I couldn't explain, anything except the very most rudimentary things about quantum physics to anyone. But I trust the people that I have read, and besides, there's lots of examples around, for us to see that what they're talking about is real.
So are you saying that your book, The Universe in Black and White, is based on other people's findings?
Yes, in actuality, what it really is my children and I explored for years what it who are we? We ask that question. Who are we? What is science discovering? How is this changing our paradigm? What are the conflicting worldviews? What are the differences between Eastern and Western philosophies, et cetera, et cetera? And we studied, and there's just a lot of information out there. People like, for example, David Bohm or Fred Alan Wolf or Deepak Chopra, or the list just is endless of people who are doctors and scientists and all who are trying to tell us what they have discovered about our world. And we're at the beginning of this, really. Even though quantum physics has been around for over 100 years, we're pretty new. It takes a while for all of this stuff to filter down to the lay people, people like you and I who aren't in a position to be able to understand what is, theoretically, mathematically, et cetera, going on.
Let me ask you this. How do you relate the universe in black and white to what we're seeing today in the Middle East? For example, the turmoil now between Syria and Turkey, and what has gone on in Egypt, and what has gone on in Lebanon, and how does quantum physics and the universe in black and white relate to that?
Boy, I wasn't expecting a question like that. Other than that, that any time that science really tells us that it discovers or uncovers, might be a better word, truths about our our world, our environment, what we are actually, then it eventually changes everything. I mean, when Newtonian physics showed up and the Industrial Revolution happened, it changed everything. Really pretty much across the board around the world.
But you're saying that what I'm hearing is that you're relating everything in the past to quantum physics, and yet according to experts, quantum physics have only been around in the 20th century.
Well, no. What do you mean I'm relating it? I'm trying to give you show you that or talk about the fact that Newtonian physics it came before quantum physics. I mean, we rolled along here, and as we've moved and our understandings have grown, then we have moved into. It isn't that Newtonian physics went away; we still use Newtonian physics, but quantum physics has is a bigger picture, a bigger overview of our whole worldview, our whole perception of what is real.
All right, so if quantum physics is giving us a new look at what we believed to be true with Newtonian physics, does that mean in years to come, science is going to come out with a new way of explaining how we were wrong about quantum physics, like they're coming out and saying, well, Newtonian physics isn't exactly right? Are we going to see this in the future?
I'm certain it will. Where our consciousness is expanding all the time, and we keep having to incorporate more findings, more of what we understand as time goes on. I'm absolutely sure of that. In fact, it probably, people in this field probably already know where we're headed, even beyond this.
Do we need to know where we're heading using quantum physics, or should we live one day at a time?
I think that, obviously, I think there's not much we can do except live one day at a time. But if you're curious or if you're, I would say that a lot of people are having a little bit of difficulty with their lives right now.
All right, Terry, stand by. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. X-Zone Nation, Terry Favour's our guest this hour. She's the author of The Universe in Black and White, a plain and simple illustrated guide to time, space, and the meaning of life. Her website, www.terryfavour.com. That's Terry, Favour.com. We'll be back right after the news. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone. Don't go away.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net. Welcome back to the X-Zone. Terry Favour's our guest this hour. Terry's written a book entitled The Universe in Black and White, a plain and simple illustrated guide to time, space, and the meaning of life. Her website is www.terryfavour.com. That's Terry, Favour.com. Terry, how does the relationship of self-oneness relate to the world around us, not only in our own physical space, but within the different religious philosophies that go from east to west?
The phrase, or when one says something like, what is self to oneness,
yes,
or form to emptiness, or something on that order. What we're really talking about is the relationship of the physical world, everything that we can see, feel, touch, talk about, and then what our source is. And so if you're talking religion, you're talking about the source being God and the visible world being the manifestation of, say, God. I mean, there's an enormous there are a lot of ways
Yeah,
that people look at that.
So if this is all one universe, and if everything is based on the reality of the same, how come there are so many different religions with so many different origins?
Well, if you really take a good look at them, you'll see that they have an awful lot in common. And probably the biggest difference is the Eastern look at the spiritual life and the Western look at the spiritual life. The Eastern tends to be more what quantum physics is telling us is true about our universe now, which is interesting because what it's doing is it's actually kind of melding the philosophies, the scientific philosophies of the West with the more psychological philosophies of the East, and which is a phenomena that really needs to happen, I think. There, for many, many years, there's been a lot of people in this country that have looked to the East, looked at Buddhism and Hinduism and a lot of other things in the East because we felt that that a lot of what the Western thought process was lacking. In actuality, they have a lot in common. And I think the more that we look at the differences, the more we probably find why they're alike. And it's mostly the interpretation of how things are worded. Even all the confusion going on in the Middle East and our kind of more radical Christian views and the radical views over there, they have an enormous amount in common. It's ridiculous that they fight, but it's because of because of terminology. It's because of not understanding that they're talking about the same thing. This is an age-old problem.
How do you see quantum physics working in this field in the future to meld and to help each other better understand so we don't see, if you'll excuse the expression, the holy wars or the jihads that we're seeing today?
Well, as we understand that we are all part of the same source, no matter whatever, what you call it, that I think that science lends a credibility that is sometimes hard to accomplish in the spiritual or religious world. We have, especially here in the West, we've really taken what science has said to be true. We've taken it to be fact, and I think that as quantum physics moves more and more into showing us that what the spiritual teachers, et cetera, over time have been telling us is actually true, and then interpreting them in a way that 21st century language and thought process is able to comprehend, that it'll be impossible not to see that much of what is the spiritual truths are in fact true, but from a different point of view.
Is it possible that quantum physics may actually be the demise of spirituality?
No, absolutely not.
But if quantum physics is going to be challenging the Newtonian physics that we know today, and Newton himself questioned theology, and so have many great scientists, if just a sec, please, if quantum physics is going to be investigating into the reality, and if we are saying that spirituality is not a reality, doesn't this mean that one will wipe out the other?
No, I think in fact quantum physics tells us that spirituality is very real. And actually Newton himself was a very spiritual person.
He was spiritual, but he didn't believe in creationism as described in the Bible.
Oh, well, that I'm afraid I don't have any knowledge about. I don't know what his particular views were, but I do know that he believed in God. the point is that God being words meaning, I'm using it as meaning source. Quantum physics is telling us that our source is consciousness itself. It is intelligence. That what we've called nothing
yes.
is not really nothing at all. That it's a full and overflowing realm of information, and it's one. It's all coming from one source.
All right, so let me ask you this, because we've got only so much time, and I'd like to get in as much as I can. Has science ever been wrong?
Well, it depends on what you mean by wrong. And of course, I mean, I don't think I'm qualified to answer a question like that. But I think that most of the time when we talk about science being right or wrong, it's mostly that it hasn't included everything. What happens is that it just keeps advancing and learning more and including more.
All right, and then you said that I asked you a question and you basically said that you weren't qualified to answer it, and yet the title of your book is "The Universe in Black and White: A Plain and Simple Illustrated Guide to Time, Space, and the Meaning of Life." And I'm asking you plain and simple questions pertaining to time, space, and the meaning of life, and I'm not getting ahead. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Why did you I see by the bio that your publisher sent us that you attended the University of California at Berkeley and the University of Idaho, and I understand that you're an artist. Is it possible that you being an artist has opened you up to a certain part of perception that the rest of us who aren't artists don't realize is there or cannot understand?
No, I don't think so. What this book was about was an exploration that I did personally and that I did with my family about what's available out there to know. It's what's available to us from learned people in the West and the East, and what they had to say, and what we discovered that they were all saying pretty much the same thing. And
all right. Okay, so tell me, what have you learned personally during this exploration that you've taken through other people's books?
Well, what I was really trying to find, my question was, when I was very young, was, who are we? Mm-hmm. What are we?
Yeah.
Just look around at this fantastic world that we're in, and look what it does.
Okay, that's the question you asked. Now, after your trip, after your exploration, after your research, what is the answer that you've come up with?
Well, I've found that. Let me put it this way. I think that the biggest thing that I found was that I was not a body. I'm not this body that through generations and evolution and everything somehow learned to think, but that intelligence and consciousness actually learned how to make a body, and that's what I have inherited. That's what I am.
All right, so you're saying where conventional thinking says the cart's before the horse, you're saying the horse is before the cart. Exactly.
And I think that that's what's here to learn. And of course it took me 379 pages of illustrations and words to really systematically explore what you're asking me. And it isn't an easy thing to answer. And in fact, I don't know if you have the book, but there's cartoon drawings on every page. Mm-hmm. And I felt that the cartoon drawings would help keep the reader focused, so that they could think about these ideas that are so really very different from the way we've thought about things in the past. It keeps them in the forefront of your mind as you have to, kind of wade through this whole scenario of these new beliefs that are actually becoming fact in our world.
Okay, let me ask you this. With all the books that are being published around the world, I think last year there were over 2.2 million books that were published worldwide. Somebody buys your book. How is your book going to change their life? How is your book going to enhance their life?
Well, I don't know if it is. I feel like there's a certain synchronicity to who will probably pick it up. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that, it might mean something to some people. I just put out what I thought had made a difference to myself and my kids and my family and other friends. Mm-hmm. And actually didn't, when I did this in the first place, I didn't really expect to publish it. I was just doing it for an exercise in clarity for myself and the people around me. The publishing just kind of
blossomed.
It happened. Yeah.
How did your book help the clarity of those who have read it that you know? For example, your family, your friends, your the people that you gave the book to read prior to publishing. How did the book help them?
Well, I think that it clarified how our consciousness has expanded in the last century, mm-hmm. And what it is now including, it's the just that in everyday life, I think that there's a lot of confusion now as to just how to move forward. I think people are feeling, I don't know what to say, maybe a little depressed sometimes about what the future looks like. And I think that, learning a little bit more about who we really are, according to what our own scientists are saying about that.
But you and I both agree that in the past science has been wrong. So how do we know they're right now?
Well, it isn't a matter of being right or wrong. It's a matter of being on the edge of what is unfolding.
What is unfolding based on the discoveries of those who have a belief in that particular science?
Well, I think that, an awful lot of our technology, mm-hmm. Is actually based on the science that we're discussing. And we're talking about the philosophical aspects of the science we're discussing. But it's, hardcore technology. The cell phones that we use are all this stuff that we're doing and using right now is based on this technology.
But the cell phone is just a newer generation of the microwave transmissions that broadcasting has been using since the 50s.
Well, that's how, of course, but what we were doing in the 50s in our daily life mm-hmm. is quite different than what we're doing now. If I can't find my cell phone,
sure.
It's like, oh, well, gee, do I want to drive from here to Phoenix without my cell phone? That's ridiculous. I didn't ever think one thought about having to communicate with anybody in my car.
But once again, it's your choice now whether you want to or not. You don't have to have your cell phone. You don't have to communicate with people. It's a choice you're making.
Of course, but what I'm saying is that most of us are behaving like that now.
All right. Okay, you and I have to say so long for today. I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been a rather strange and unusual hour. Strange and unusual, to say the least. I don't know. I'm going to have to try and figure out something over this next commercial break on how to further close this conversation. My name's Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. Don't go away.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Hello, I'm Pete Marsh. With my daughter Justina, we will be presenting the new radio show, Too Good to Be True. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. But with the help of Justina's amazing gifts, we're going to gain insight into questions that don't yet have complete answers. Have you wondered who built Stonehenge and for what reason? Why are crop circles found in the same region as Stonehenge and elsewhere? Are crop circles a hoax, or are they created with technologies that we have little knowledge of? Who built the pyramids in Egypt and also in other countries? How and why were they built? Was the Titanic switched with the Britannic as part of a gigantic insurance fraud, or for more insidious reasons? What caused the Tunguska event when trees were flattened over an 800 square mile area in Siberia? Will the new insights be too good to be true? Well, that will depend on what you are prepared to believe. Please join us as we start on this journey together. For more information on Too Good to Be True, visit www.xzbn.net.
Dreams are our personal gateways into infinite wisdom. Don't miss shamanic counselor and indigenously trained dream decoder Sandra Corcoran's inspiring book, Shamanic Awakening Between the Dark and the Daylight. This remarkable work chronicles Sandra's 35 years of experience with diverse wisdom keepers and her initiations throughout the Americas and across the British Isles, Turkey, Greece, and Egypt. Sandy's knowledge of symbology, psychology, and myth influence her dream blog and workshops. Sandy offers private tarot readings, international journeys, a meditative CD, as well as her book, Shamanic Awakening, to encourage you as you navigate this earth walk, creating a deeper connection to yourself and all that is. Find this and more at Sandy's website, starwalkervisions.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I've got to tell you something. Everyone here was scratching their head after the last interview. She wrote a book entitled The Universe in Black and White, a plain and simple illustrated guide to time, space, and the meaning of life. But I tried asking simple questions that were in black and white, at least I thought so, and I wasn't getting any answers. So how do we look at life? Do we take what the new sciences is telling us as verbatim, that this is how it's going to be from now on? Or do we look into our past and say, hey, science has been wrong in the past. How do we know it's right now? In the past, science and the great minds said the world was flat. We know now that it isn't flat. Science has come up with some discoveries and some medicines that have worked. Other medicines haven't worked, and the best example I could give on that is the formaldehyde epidemic that happened on this, when this formaldehyde fiasco happened. Children were being born deformed with no arms, in some cases no legs in others. Science is not perfect. And it really bothers me to hear people who really don't have the expertise themselves and have not gone through the training to become scientists, but they just sit around the table and discuss things with their family, and hey, that's great. At least the family's communicating. And then to do research on what you fancy and say, hey, this is the way I think, and oh, look at that. This person here thinks the way I think, and oh no, this person, no, they disagree with everything I believe. And you put together a book. And you come up with this idea for a title, and you discuss it, and it fits your way of thinking. And it's 329 pages. You put these little cartoons on the pages to help people understand, okay, there's a contradiction in my eyes anyway. And you have it published, whether it's self-published or published by a publisher. That doesn't make a difference here. It's my personal belief that when you write a book, you should know what the hell you're writing about. And if you dare to have your publicist contact radio shows or radio stations, TV stations, or reporters, don't expect a script. Well, let me put it to you this way. Don't expect me to agree with everything you're saying. Don't expect me to back off and let you do your little spiel. Expect me to challenge you on your book, challenge you on your knowledge, and try to understand why you wrote the book and what you expect and what people will actually walk away with after reading your book. As I said, more than 2 million books a year are published worldwide. 2 million books. Now, people are probably saying, wow, that's a lot of books. No, it's not considering the population of this planet. And there has been an increase in publishing ever since people have been able to self-publish their books. Anyone can publish a book, print on demand or through companies like Publish America. They'll publish anything. That doesn't mean it's good, and it doesn't mean it'll sell, and it doesn't mean it makes sense. So far, from what I've seen over the past 50 minutes, this does not make any sense to me at all. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as we continue here in the X Zone from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Send me your thoughts, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com.